The meeting has begun.
Yes.
Good morning.
Good
morning.
Okay, that was sort of weak, pathetic. That was really weak. Incomplete.
We're out of practice.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's try it again. I will try to put more energy into my presentation here.
Take the mallet and do it like this so we can hear you.
No. Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, better. All right, welcome to meeting number 337 of the MAC Group, Dayton, Ohio. Mr. Leal, do we have any new members today?
I've been so slammed, I have none hooked up.
Okay. I will address the audience then. Do we have any new members today? Do we have any old members who have been gone a long time that need to be reintroduced to the group? Okay.
Point us out,
All
William.
right, so we're gonna start with the beans in the back corner. If you would be kind enough to just stand up and say hi.
Hi.
Okay. You're still over at Bethany, right?
Yeah.
I still have a bottle of wine for your when you bought the place, and I never brought over.
It's aging well, is that right?
It's a white, it was like a cap, a white,
Very good.
okay, so anyway, if I remember, which is, I'll call you. You dropped off my radar scope when you took the world cruise.
Yeah.
It was like, I for a while, I was trying to track where your boat was.
Well,
Yeah,
we
so,
took 4 cruises this year, so.
yeah, okay. Anyway, with that said, that's Vic and Kathy Bean, and they're Mac users. You're still Mac users?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I think they have now some Amazon devices, because one of my Amazon devices said, "Oh, do you want to say hello to Vic and Kathy Bean?" And I said no, because I figured it would freak you out. Okay, with that said, so that's our welcome.
Yeah.
You don't want to introduce yourself again, no? Okay. All right, so we're gonna go to news items, stuff going on in the world of computing. Just a reminder, this is our first meeting after the summer break. For those who have not been here a while, I just want to remind you of the rules. No theology, no ideology, no politics, okay? We focus on being selfish and learning things that we need to know about computers and phones and iPads to make our lives better and less complicated. Okay, so get that in your mind. When you're here, be selfish, think of yourself first. What do I need to know? What really bothers me? What aggravates me? Is there somebody that can help me with that? Okay, so with that as our basis, moving on to news. The Eurozone, the bureaucrats in Brussels, they're really hurting for revenue. I don't think they realize just how much the United Kingdom provided them in terms of funding for the stuff that they would do. So they're going the regulatory route in fining large corporations as much as they possibly can. They recently decided in their wisdom that tax arrangements that have been in place for more than 15 years are inherently unfair, and so they have fined both Apple and Google and Microsoft several $billions. Okay, now, the difference between Apple and Google and Microsoft is that Apple had that money sitting in an escrow account in a bank in Cork, Ireland, this whole time, gaining interest. So all Apple has to do is just turn that account over to the Irish government and they're done. Google and Microsoft have to come up with the cash. Okay, so just something to keep in mind about corporate governance, differences between different companies. Okay, I'm trying to think if there's anything else of news, of note that's been going on. Yes,
One thing that I, perked my ears, they're gonna have sort of a hearing aid function on the new,
I'll be talking about that in the presentation.
fantastic.
Okay, and I'll also be talking about sleep apnea in the presentation. Okay,
Should
but
have that.
the engineer Reinhardt in the front row is focusing in on something that Apple is focusing in on. They are becoming a medical device company in a lot of ways. And there's a lot more coming down the line with that in the future. Okay, anybody else have any other news items they want to add? Blah, 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 blah. Okay, I'll just add one last one, and that is the folks that used to be Cincinnati Bell, and I can't remember what they call themselves now, have completed their fiber rollout in the south suburbs, and they're, well, except for Kettering, they're still working on Kettering. So that would be an alternative to AT&T or Spectrum for many of the people in the south suburbs. Okay, and then up north, where's, is it MetroNet up by you? Up by, yeah.
Yeah.
You use MetroNet, right?
No.
Okay. Okay, so anyway, more choices coming. So I'm gonna say we're done with that news. Did you wanna do a HomeKit minute?
I came prepared.
Do you wanna do it just from there, or do you wanna do it from
I just need the projector on.
Go for it, okay.
I'll pass this around. This is the box. My topic for this month came in, but, there's a,
Okay, I've got the Apple TV up,
okay,
so if you wanna sync to it.
all right. So this is not the solar eclipse. This is my installation of the light fixture that's being passed, the box that's being passed around. The company that makes it is called LifeX, and I've talked about several of their products before, and they just have a much superior LED product than most of this average stuff that you find from overseas that have been dumped into the US market. But I will not get on my soapbox. But, so the nice thing about this, this light fixture that it has two different elements in it. There's a downlight. This is a ceiling mounted light fixture. So it has the, what you see here in the picture is the ring that's across the top that gives a nice glow to the ceiling around it. And then I'll start the video here. I apologize for the shakiness, but it's kind of hard to hold your iPad and play with the app on your phone at the same time. So in a second, it'll go through some cycles that there's lots of different functions on the app. It goes, you know, in the downlight, there's 54 different zones on the downlight that have individual controllable LEDs. So the app is able to control that downlight with different themes. And I'll show you some screenshots from the app here shortly, but it's hard to capture because the camera on my iPad kind of, you know, generalizes some of the exposure. But so I'll dim it here in a second and give you an idea of some of the themes that it goes through. But I've got it on a switch, so when you turn it on and off, it reboots itself. And but if you could leave the switch on and control it by just through the app. But it costs about $120. You can get it at Home Depot. It's the kind of light fixture that you wouldn't want to necessarily put just anywhere in your house. I've got it in my man cave, my office space. And so it's nice that, you know, if I want to get into watch a movie on my TV screen, I can have just a dim light on, or this next function that's come up, they call it sunrise. And I think, yeah, here it goes. So you can see that you get those 54 different zones that are capable of creating different patterns. There's one called clouds, and it doesn't come off too well on the video, but you see a blue background with some white fluffy things, sort of going across. And I think I'll just go right into the so on the app, there's many different ways to control the light fixture. You have all the different spectrum colors shown in the rainbow here. So you could choose any color. You have different ways of controlling it. You can control both uplight and downlight, or just the downlight, or just the uplight, or you could also control any of the 54 different zones on the light. So you have your colors, you have your intensity, and then a little bit more up to generic. You've got all the different temperatures for the colors. You could choose anywhere from the 9,000K down to 1,500K. And then these are some of the functions, the themes that you could have. I showed you the one of sunrise. There's also one called sunset, it must be backwards. And then there's several other different names for it. But then you can have different themes also based upon holidays or your favorite football clubs. They have hockey, all different kinds of. So, any questions? I mean, it's a ceiling mount. It's very easy to mount. It has a plate that you attach to the junction box, and then you slip it on, make a half turn, and it locks onto the plate. It's very, very simple to mount. Yeah.
Can you automate it with a timer for the sunrise?
You could set themes and then have Siri pick a theme at a certain time, yes. I don't know whether you could choose any of the animated themes, yeah.
Do you have to have the HomeKit, or does it work independently with just your phone?
You would have to have the app, the LifeX app. Doesn't need HomeKit, but if you wanted to automate it, have it on and off, you would need HomeKit. It is Matter capable, as you can see on the box, so it does work with
Does it use a lot of energy?
Alexa, all the other protocols.
Zigbee?
Is that Google? It works with Google and Alexa as well, because it's Matter. Okay, that's it.
Okay, something to keep in mind when we're showing you stuff about automation, we're showing you possibilities. We're not saying, oh, you need to put this in your bathroom tomorrow. So it's what's possible, what you can do. One of the things that I find very interesting working with this Internet of Things is how often people don't want to do it because they've been given so many choices of how this device can operate that they just go, I don't know what to do. It's sort of like, the mule with 5 bales of hay and it doesn't know which one it wants to munch on. Or you're in your local Kroger or Dorothy Lane Market and you're going, which kind of cheese do I want? And there's, literally hundreds of choices. And you get locked in the mind because you don't know how to decide. So don't think about that when Dan is displaying this sort of stuff. Go, oh, there's more and more commercially available devices at places like Lowe's and Home Depot that can be controlled and can do these sorts of things. Is there some place in my life where this would add some sort of quality? Now, in my case, we don't do a lot of entertaining, but I have people in our social circle who have houses that are designed for large groups of people and parties. And for those sorts of people, this kind of stuff would be perfect. You're doing a Halloween party, all the fixtures are thematically Halloween. Or, you know, let's say you're running your own little bar in your garage off the books. You want to give your patrons a little bit extra. It's a big thing in Chicago. My sister has told me that it's a big thing, people running bars, after-hour bars, out of their garages. Anyway, but those are the sort of things that you sort of be thinking about when you're seeing this stuff. Possibilities. Okay, next one. Freebies wanted for sale. Somebody brought in a box of cake that was you.
I did, yeah.
Okay. Do you need anything in particular from the box, or is it just, you know?
No, it's all available for the taking. Anything that's not taken, I'll remove at the end of the meeting, and it'll end up either at a recycling center or
Or
a
I can
landfill.
recycle it for you either way.
It's
Okay.
yours.
Now, the thing about cable boxes, everybody has that drawer with the cables or the bag with the cables, whatever. If you don't know what it is, chances are you don't need it. If you look at the cable and you go, oh yeah, that's a blah, blah, blah cable that works with my blah, 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 and I can connect to this, then you want to take it. But if you don't know what it is, typically, you don't want it or need it. Okay, with that said, there's also a bunch of lapel pins, little Apple lapel pins. Okay, we got them from Apple a while ago. They were just sitting in the club meeting box. If you want a lapel pin, a little Apple lapel pin, pick one up, take it home with you. Because the purpose of the group is not to take in stuff and hoard it. It's to take in stuff and give it back out to the members. Okay. The metaphor I like to use for a user group is a fountain. A fountain does not keep water for itself. It just keeps spraying out the water. Okay, anybody else have something that they're looking for in terms of, you know, freebies? Going once, going twice? Okay. Do we have, I'm guessing here, do we have anybody in the audience that might have something they want to sell?
Why is everybody looking at me? No, I've still got those iPads. If anybody, you know, it's a cheap iPad. I've got 3 that are anywhere from $10 to $100.
Okay. And what do you usually recommend people use older iPads for? I use a couple of mine for remote controls for the TV because they're real hard to lose. I mean, it's not like one of these guys where it slips into a couch.
Well, I mean, if you're into books, you could always use it as something like a Kindle,
Yeah.
akin to a Kindle, or you could mount them to the wall and use them for your HomeKit devices.
Yeah.
So.
Or if you're cheap, you could buy one of those IKEA box of bamboo wood where you put your iPad in it and it holds it up and you use it as an electronic picture frame. You just have IKEA showing pictures of the grandkids. Or, you know, whatever you want to see pictures of. Okay, anything else? Anybody else have anything? No, okay. I had one other item that was supposed to be in news that I totally forgot about, and that is, I had several people, one is a club member, the other people were people from church, who called me up. They were very, very upset. They had gotten an email, and it had a picture of the front of their house, and it had their name on it and their address, and it said that all sorts of terrible things were going to happen to them if they didn't somehow send money to this person. You don't want me to come to your house, et cetera, et cetera. But it never really said how they were supposed to pay this money to the person. And so I went, whoa, that sounds interesting. Can you forward that email to me? And they did. In one case, they printed it out and they handed it to me. And I'm looking at it, I'm going like, it's the exact same verbiage. The only difference is the picture and the names. Okay, the name of the person. And I went, whoa, okay. And I thought, oh, it's somebody local doing this. So I did a Google search, an image search of what the email looks like. And lo and behold, pops up a news report on a television station up in Boston where people have been getting these things, and they brought it to the attention of the local cops who said, we can't do anything about it. And at that point I realized, okay, it's one of these things where it's a scam, it's nationwide. If you get one, they're not really focused on you, they're probably sending it out to hundreds of thousands of people. So if you have an email from someone that you don't know, why you would read it, that's up to you. And it has a picture of your house and some sort of threatening language in it, in your name, just ignore it. It's bogus, it's a scam, okay? Not worth you losing sleep over, okay? Okay. Anyway, that was the news item that I forgot to share. Okay, so the next thing would be help desk, help desk, help desk. I'm looking, do we have anybody? I'll go to the lady in the back first, and then I'll go to Darren. Okay, so you're first.
Okay, so when is the time to replace the battery in your phone? If you've only got 78%, is it time to replace it?
Okay, what kind of device is it?
It's an Apple SE.
It's an Apple what?
SE,
Phone.
iPhone SE.
Oh, phone,
Yeah.
okay, Apple iPhone SE.
right?
Okay, when you go into settings, does it tell you that there's a problem with the
It's
battery?
78%.
Okay,
Is that good or bad?
all right. So normally what you would do is you take it into the Apple store, have them diagnose it
Right,
to make sure if there isn't something they can reset to get the battery back the way it was.
okay,
And at that point, you either, they'll suggest what you should do. Typically, they're going to say, if it's very, very old, so this is an iPhone SE, so that'd be like circa 2020?
the latest one.
Oh, latest, okay, so it'd be more like 2023. Okay. They probably would recommend a
Yeah, that's
battery
not good.
replacement.
Okay, screw it.
In some cases, they will tell you there's a special repair program where they'll do it for a reduced cost.
Or if I need to get it replaced, do you suggest?
Or can you trade it in for a newer one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But can you go someplace else and have the battery replaced?
I can't hear
Go
you.
someplace else to have the battery replaced
Um,
besides Apple?
the people I know that have had third parties replace batteries in iPhones have not gotten good results.
Okay,
While the battery got replaced, typically something else got screwed up. So for things like an iPhone, an Apple Watch, an iPad, I normally recommend that you go to an Apple authorized repair. Okay?
okay,
So you've got the Micro Center down on Mosteller Road is Apple authorized. You've got the Apple Store at Kenwood. You've got the Apple Store up at the Green. And then I'm not sure if the people that I'm trying to remember their name, they do repair work for the University of Dayton. I don't know if they're,
No, I was gonna say it was 23, it wouldn't be covered by the warranty.
it might be,
it just
a-
went
huh?
out. We don't-
Okay, so you're out of
This is the
Apple
phone we got
Care?
from somebody else, and so,
Oh.
they bought the newest one, and so.
Okay.
We got the,
I would start in an Apple store,
okay.
okay? The last time I got one battery done, they basically said, okay, $99.99, they'll replace the battery, they guarantee the work, blah, blah, blah,
Okay,
okay? The other thing to remember is people carry a lot of stuff on their phones, and sometimes they have it backed up, and sometimes they don't. And you can't always count on a third party to properly back up your data. And then the other thing to consider is, do you really want a third party to have your iPhone data? For Apple, you know, you have more of an assurance that they're going to maintain your privacy.
Okay.
Okay. If there's inappropriate pictures on your iPhone, take those off before you let anybody else access. No, I'm just saying. Okay, or things that might be considered inappropriate, you know. Some people don't think the way grandparents do. If I got, you know, lots of pictures of kids in the bathtub, they're my grandkids, you can bet on it. They're not somebody else's kids.
Bill,
Okay.
another thing, I
Yep.
had, my granddaughter broke my screen on my iPad. They don't replace the screens, they replace the whole iPad.
Okay. It depends on,
I had Apple Care, so.
okay, yeah.
They're not repairing there, I mean,
No, because what they'll do is they'll recycle that one, and it's more cost effective for Apple. Let me go to Derek, because Derek had a help desk item.
I think it was last April, I asked for your help, and you didn't call me. Anyway, I just wanted to ask you, you can still help me. I have the iMac late 2009,
Okay,
and I lost mounting of that hard disk itself.
Mm.
You said it's better that you come to my place to do it there.
okay.
Can you still do that or not?
Where are you located?
Centerville?
Centerville?
South of
Okay.
Centerville.
I've been having some health issues,
Oh,
so
okay. I can bring it here.
that would work better.
Oh, okay.
At the break, come up, I give you my address, okay, and then you can bring it to my house,
Oh, okay.
okay?
Okay.
And that way, we get it
What
done.
I really need is to recover the photos.
Yeah,
You know,
I hear you.
Yeah, I made a transfer, but it didn't work
Yeah,
because of
I'm having trouble scheduling stuff, because I never know whether a day's gonna be a good
Yeah,
day or a bad
okay,
day.
okay.
And
What-
until
what
we
kind of
get
computer is
some
it?
medical stuff sorted out.
What is it?
Okay, I will go to Harrisburg.
There's this device I saw advertised for $79, also on Amazon. It's a backup device. It'll plug into your iPhone and
Yeah.
download everything on your iPhone.
Yeah,
Then you can put it wherever you want.
Yeah.
On your iPad
or you could do what we showed in June, which was the program iMazing, which lets you plug your iPhone in and lets you save that backup of the iPhone wherever you want, either on your computer or on an external hard drive or on a flash drive, on a storage device. And it also has all these other whiz-bang features that you can use that make it very nice.
If you wanna go to 256, it's like $150 for the same. Because, you know, depending on how much you got on your phone.
Yeah, but the thing is, if you've got a lot of devices, okay, using a program like iMazing works better, because when your devices are on your local network, it will look, see them, and automatically back them up to where you want them backed up to. So then it's automated, instead of you having to manually do it.
Yeah. This
Okay.
was a better.
Automated backups get done, manual backups never get done. Okay. That's why you want to have it automated as much as possible. It's why we usually have our utility bills auto pay. So when we flip the switch, the lights come on, and when we, okay. The other cautionary thing about other devices that plug into your iPhone is some of these devices, I'm probably not the one that you're talking about, but some of these devices are bought very inexpensively from places like Temu, Chinese sources, and they typically have more than you think in them. So, possibility of data theft. So that's why I prefer to use a software program. I'm using my cables, I'm using my computer, I'm using my phone, my iPad, and I'm controlling the process. Okay. Again, amazing, absolutely gorgeous program for getting control of what's on your phone. Okay. And even the demo version of it will let you do a whole bunch of stuff that, you know, you don't even have to pay for. Okay, let's continue on. Any other help desk items? Okay. So I guess we're going to do raffle next. Okay, we're going to be talking about today is the Glowtime Event releases and a little bit about Apple Intelligence. Glowtime, Apple Computer had this big event last Monday, so this is fresh information, and they called it their Glowtime Event. Okay, so that was the, you know, fancy logo they have. It's about a little bit over an hour presentation. It's still available from the Apple website if you want the, you know, how they presented it. So what they did at this event was they announced a bunch of new hardware, and they started to talk about Apple Intelligence, okay? That's their way of saying artificial intelligence, how they're going to use this technology, AI, in Apple devices. So, what was announced? A new Apple Watch Series 10, a new Apple Watch Ultra 2, so that's the, you know, for regular people, and then the one that's for the folks that have got more money than God. Then they also announced AirPods. Those are the ear things that you see people wearing in Zoom meetings. So they announced the AirPod 4, and there's an option that they announced for the AirPod 4. So it's like two different things. They look the same. One of them has active noise cancellation. So like if you're on an airplane flight and you don't want to hear the engines, active noise cancellation will let you hear the person talking next to you. It will let you hear the music you want to listen to, but won't let you hear the background noise. And then they also announced an updated AirPods Max. That's Apple's headphone set. Okay? Again, think of it for people with more money than God. Then they also announced the iPhone 16 and the iPhone 16 Plus. So it's the iPhone 16 and it comes in two different sizes. We'll go into those details a little bit more. And then they also announced the iPhone 16 Pro and the iPhone 16 Pro Max. Again, for the people with more money than God. You're going to buy one, right, Bill? I'm looking at Bill Wharton. Yeah, he's probably already got the order in. Okay, now, this stuff, as we know, the hardware is nothing without the software. The software for these devices will be coming probably next Monday, September 20th. Okay, that's what they announced. This will be the first set of software where Apple has their AI stuff in it. It's still in beta, but you're going to start to see this Apple Intelligence software permeating through their device ecosphere.
Hey, Bill,
Yeah.
the hardware, the new hardware is supposed to be available starting the 20th, but isn't the software update coming on this coming Monday, the 16th?
Yeah,
Monday.
I'm sorry, I misspoke. Yeah, Monday is the 16th, the 20th, yeah. Okay, anyway. Now, there's a lot of details about all this stuff. All right? If I showed you all of the details in the meeting, guess what? It'd be out of your head before you're out the door. So because I know how my brain works and I have a pretty good idea of how your brain works, we've got these additional resources that'll be emailed to you with the presentation. So these resources, the first one is iOS 18 new features. It's got all of the stuff in this PDF, this document, about all the features of iOS 18 and a lot of details about the Apple Intelligence stuff that's going to be in it. And then I've got tech spec sheets for the AirPods 4, the AirPods 4 Max, the AirPods Max, AirPods Pro 2, the Apple Watch Series 10, the Apple Watch Ultra 2, and the iPhone 16 and the iPhone 16 Pro. So this is where, if you want to know exactly how many nits the screen has in terms of brightness, it's a measure of brightness, this will tell you, oh, it goes from 1 nit up to 2,000 for this one versus that one. So that's where all those details are going to be. My job is not to sell you on Apple stuff, so I won't be talking about prices. My job is just to sort of explain what the real differences are of what's come out. Okay, and with that said, hit return, and here we go. So we'll start with the Apple Watch Series 10. Okay, so the first thing that they've noticed is that the people who tend to have money tend to be older, and older people don't have the eyesight the younger crowd have. So the big design change in the Apple Watch Series 10 is it's the biggest display that they've ever put on an Apple Watch, and surprise, surprise, it's the thinnest Apple Watch they've ever made. So what they basically did was take the guts, make it less fat, make it thinner, but make it bigger in terms of, okay. Now, it comes in two different types of cases. You can get it with an aluminum case, or you can get it with a titanium case. All right. The next thing is what sort of colors they got. Well, if you get it in aluminum, you can have jet black, rose gold, or silver. If you go into titanium, then it's going to be slate, gold, or natural. The other thing to know about it is that it's got a new chip in it. This is the S10 chip, Apple Silicon. This is the stuff where these chips have what are called neural CPUs in them. This is where we start to get into the whole artificial intelligence, neural networks. There's also a new health feature on this chip, on the Apple Watch series, and that is if you're wearing your watch at night, okay, and this goes for, I believe it's Apple Watch Series 9 and 10 will have this feature. If it's older than that, you feel it's got like an Apple Watch SE, you won't have this feature, okay? But it's going to monitor your sleep function. And every month it'll do a analysis of your sleep function for that month and will determine whether you have what appears to be sleep apnea. And if you do, it'll notify you about it. And if you don't, it will not notify you about it. Okay. That's a big thing about Apple. They only want to get your attention when it actually deserves having your attention. So the reason why this is sort of a big thing is because Apple slowly but surely is moving into the medical device technology sphere. You already can do the monitoring blood oxygen levels. It'll monitor, your heart rate, that sort of stuff. This will be one more thing that it's able to do, sleep apnea. Okay. Yeah. Then we've got the Apple Watch Ultra 2. Now this is a much more expensive watch. It's primarily aimed at the people who are extremely active. They're jogging, they're scuba diving, they're snorkeling, they're, bike ride, marathoning, that kind of stuff. And it's got a whole bunch of other features in it, and it's a more rugged watch. It comes only in titanium, but they changed, this is, the big deal. Now it's titanium grade 5. not just a regular titanium that you can have on the Apple Watch Series 10, but grade 5. All right, well, this is the sort of titanium that if you're scuba diving, it's not gonna corrode. All right, it comes in 2 colors, black or natural. It also has a special silicon, Apple silicon chip in it, the S10. So it's got the same chip as the Apple Watch Series 10. It's also going to have artificial intelligence features in it. They have a couple new controls that they put on this watch, and that is an action button. It now has a siren, and then into the watch, they're going to have a depth gauge and a water temperature sensor. So when you're scuba diving with your Apple Watch Ultra 2, you can know the temperature of the water and the depth that you're running out of oxygen. Not just, that you're running out of oxygen, but you'll know the depth and the temperature. There's also other sensors that they've improved so that you're going to have a much more better data verification of things such as heart rate, oxygen level, all of those health statistics that an Apple Watch can generate. Okay. Yes?
What's the siren for?
So if you try to mug me in the alley, I put on the siren so they'll come and save you. It's serious. It's just a loud siren.
You've accidentally locked yourself in the trunk of your Bugatti.
I ask
And you
about
want-
that because I would probably be turning it on half a dozen times a day and,
It's not, you can't accidentally do
Okay.
it. It's, you gotta really wanna do it.
So anyway, the screen that you got up right now has got all of those things from the presentation in it. Thinnest watch ever, the ability to measure sleep apnea. It's going to be running watchOS 11 is the one where the artificial intelligence comes in. Biggest display. They went into unbelievable detail about the type of crystal that goes on top of the OLED display. To me, the fact that it's an OLED display is more important. It's easier for old eyes to be able to read it.
It's what they call a wide angle eye.
Yeah.
I mean, the old watches all had the OLED. This one's got this wide angle.
Yeah.
OLED.
And that means that instead of me having to sneak my watch over where I can see what time it is, I can just turn my wrist a little bit and be able to read that time. If you're busy doing stuff, you don't want to have to do full wrist movement, it actually does make sense. Better battery life, Apple Intelligence, titanium grade 5, Tide Zap, a depth app, water temperature, jet black aluminum, wide angle OLED display, and speaker playback. So those were all nice features that they added in. Okay, now let's talk about the AirPods. The AirPod, yeah.
Quick question, you still have to have a cell phone along with your?
Yes.
You can, with the Apple Watch, you can buy it with cell built in. So my watch has a cell phone built in. So if I don't have my phone with me, I have LTE on the watch. So I can run it without, I don't have to have the phone near me to communicate. I can talk to
So
somebody.
it's becoming more and more of an autonomous device.
more Dick Tracy, right? More Dick Tracy.
Yeah, yes. There is a feature already in watchOS 10, and I believe it was in watchOS 8. It's called walkie-talkie.
Here's it 7.
Yeah, watchOS 7, where basically you can do walkie-talkie from your watch to the other person's watch. Now, I tried that with my significant other, and it was not a good reception that I got.
I've used it a few times. I like it.
Yeah, so the only people I do walkie-talkie with would be my daughter. And it's an interesting feature, and yeah, you feel like Dick Tracy, you got the. Okay, so,
Bill,
yeah,
what has the charging specs gone? It used to be you had to put the watch on a recharger every night, and you mentioned you could sleep with it, so it'll monitor sleep apnea. So that's not on the charger.
Yeah, what they did, let me see if I can get this back here. 18 hours of battery life now. So you get up in the morning, you put your charger, you put your phone on your MagSafe charger while you're busy doing whatever, and then you come back in a couple minutes, it's charged up, you're good for the day, and until next morning.
It charges that quickly.
It charges pretty fast. The
Yeah.
newer watches, the 9, starting with the 9, they put a fast charge in it, so it can charge really fast.
Really?
But it also has battery management features in it. Sometimes it won't charge past 80%, depending
You
on
can
whether
turn that
it's
off. But
fitting your
Yeah.
pattern of the day or
Yeah.
not, so.
You gotta turn that off.
So it's become, in terms of power efficiency, it's a much less annoying device now. So I'm thinking of somebody, he's a real tech guy. He would not buy an Apple Watch because he did not want to have to stop in the middle of his day to charge his watch.
Yeah.
So he went with something different. Well, that was back then. Now, they've got the power efficiency, they've got the battery efficiency, that these things are 18 hours without having to
Tracy
charge.
sleeps with hers every night and never just gets up, charges it, and it's fine. She does it all the time. The Ultra's got 2 or 3 days of battery life.
Yeah.
I didn't
Yes.
realize it
What I
charged
like is
that
that
fast.
the notification, like if you're watching TV and it says, you need to plug in your watch before bed.
Yeah.
So, then you plug it in for 20 minutes. And I was told that you're not supposed to leave it charged beyond 100%. I mean, you shouldn't do overnight with these batteries. Is that true?
They've got circuitry built in so it'll keep you from being stupid, but one of the things, if you've got it paired with an Apple iPhone, the Apple iPhone will tell you that watch just charged. And you should take it off the charger and put it on your wrist, which is a nice feature. Okay, so anyway, the main thing that I took from the presentation is this Apple Intelligence is going to be going throughout all of the mobile devices. So it's not just your watch, it's not just your phone, it's going to be your AirPods, it's going to be everything. Now, whether this is going to be a good thing or it's just going to confuse the hell out of me, I don't know yet. And we won't know until we start to actually use it. Now, with the AirPod 4s, it's a redesign. Because they're an international company, they literally went out to thousands of people on all 7 continents. Yes, they went to the Antarctic and measured somebody's ear channels to figure out what was the optimum shape for these things for any human being on the planet. And so they redesigned the way it fits in your ear. So it's a new ear channel shape. They also have a new chip in it, Apple Silicon H2 chip. And again, this has got that, they've got stuff baked into it so it can do AI. Now, is it going to be significant AI? It depends. But what it means is you can be wearing those AirPods, be jamming, listening to music as you'll walk along the streets of New York, and you'll walk up to the guy to order a hot dog. The AirPods are going to know that you started to talk, and they're going to lower the volume on the AirPods of the music and enhance the voices so that you can then talk, and then when you walk away, the music comes back up. Or the sort of artificial intelligence features they're talking about, you have an incoming call, you can just shake your head, yes or no, and tell it whether you want to answer it or not. And again, if you're using AirPods and you're in a high noise environment, if it's the AirPod with the ambient noise, or the active noise cancellation, it's going to damp down that exterior noise and let you actually hear.
So you're saying
that's artificial intelligence and it's biomedical stuff all linked together. And this is where I see Apple really moving ahead of everybody else.
You notice that Apple was really careful. When they were talking about the watch and the AirPods, they never used the word artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
They specifically said machine learning.
Yeah.
And that's they're trying to differentiate very carefully where they're using machine learning versus where they're using the big language
Yeah.
models. And so the language models aren't gonna make it to these devices. These are gonna be a lot of machine learning features, like, they've already done this in the AirPods Pro.
Yeah.
They do all the stuff that they showed here, with head shaking and all that. I can do that with my AirPods Pros now. This is just really interesting how they're really leveraging the machine learning techniques.
Okay.
And these models are they're way out front of
Yeah,
us.
so machine learning. Now, I'm gonna go to the world of investing for a minute. There's a small company called NVIDIA. It's the AI company right now, all right? And they're putting $50 billion into a buyback of their own stock because they think their stock's gonna be that valuable in the future. And they've got a couple $100 billion invested into other things, all right? Now, on the street, they're saying, oh, Apple is gonna die. Apple's so far behind with our artificial intelligence. They dropped the ball. They haven't done all the stuff they should do. Okay. The thing to remember is Apple started out as a company where they were the first ones out the gate. We're talking back in the early days of personal computers. And what they learned is you really make your money not being the first one out the gate, but the one that comes in after the market has sort of settled down and you can figure out what people actually want. Case in point, how many of you use a Zune music player? Microsoft Zune music player. How many of you had an iPod? Yeah, okay. They were saying the same thing about Apple back then. Oh, Apple's not in the music player market. They've dropped the ball, blah, blah, blah. Apple comes in after that first and a half waves have come through. They are not trying to do artificial, large and small generative models themselves. They've gone, okay, the folks at ChatGPT, we're working with them and we're working with Google. We'll let them and we'll let Amazon and we'll let Microsoft, we'll let them spend the big bucks, go down the blind alleyways, and then we'll just come in later on with the features that people actually want. Okay. All right, so now that we're talking about AirPods, and we'll be talking about iPhones, there's a common theme that's going on in terms of how these things get recharged. They're all going to be using a USB-C port on the device to recharge. So I'm going to just say AirPod 4 has a USB-C charging port. The updated AirPod Max is going to have a USB-C. The iPhone 16s, the iPhone Max, they all have USB-C charging ports. The idea is you've got it centralized, you've got it standardized, your iPads use a USB-C, your computers use USB-C, you know, your studios, your laptops, all that stuff. It's all going to be USB-C. So that when you need to recharge it, the people who are around you are going to have the cable you need without you necessarily bringing it yourself. So I won't, dwell on that too much more. Okay, the other thing it has in the AirPods 4, an option, so you're buying like another device with active noise cancellation. So that's like having the headset when you do a lot of overseas flights where it'll cancel out the noise from the jet engines. That's a nice feature. But it's also, remember, a machine learning feature. It's actively sampling the environment to figure out what it needs to block out. so it'll know whether to block out the person sitting next to you who's trying to talk to you. Okay? So with the AirPods 2 Pro, it's a new ear shape channel on that also. It's got the Apple H2 headphone chip. Again, USB-C or MagSafe charging, machine learning call features, but they've got something else added into it, and the news report I read this morning says that it just got FDA approval. And that is, it'll also be a hearing aid if you so desire. Now, we're not talking the multi-$1,000 custom-built hearing aids or the ones where they put the electrodes into your brain. We're talking about the type of hearing aid that you'd be buying from a Costco or a Walmart, etc. And it's a whole suite of stuff. It's a hearing test, a hearing protection mode, and a hearing aid function. Now, again, this just got the FDA approval today. We want to see how it is going forward, but this is only going to be on the AirPod Pro 2 for right now. I would imagine that next year you're going to see it available in the other AirPods. So again, machine learning, health feature, some sort of biophysical measurement where it's able to improve the quality of your life. This is where I see the real future for these mobile devices from Apple. And then the AirPods Max, they put USB-C charging on it, new colors, midnight starlight, blue, purple, and orange, automatic switching and on-head detection. So you put it on your head, it knows it's on your head, turns itself on. Auto sharing, so if you're listening to music and somebody else has got AirPods Max in your area, you can share that song with them, which you'll probably find to be incredibly annoying. Ask before you share. Sometimes people don't want you to share. Okay, just be aware of that. And then the USB-C charging. Okay, so they've got the device on your wrist. Now they've got the device in your ears. Now we go to the device that's in your hand all the time. That'd be the iPhone. And I'm looking and I'm seeing people in the audience, they got their iPhone in their hand or they got their iPad in their hand. So now they've got your ears, your wrist, your hands, they got your attention. Okay, iPhone 16 and iPhone 16 Plus. These iPhones were designed for Apple Intelligence. They're designed to do this sort of machine learning. It's the same form factor that you saw with the i15, but it's not the same phone. Think Volkswagen. How many of you remember the Volkswagen Bug? You know, the Hitler mobile? Okay, you know. You'd have the new Volkswagen Bug came out. It looked on the outside just like the old Volkswagen Bug, but there'd be a difference. In this case, the flower bud was a different material. There was a place to put flower bud, you know, on your dashboard. It'd be in a different place. Or it'd be this kind of, they'd improve the engine. Or the one that I remember is they changed it from just plain old plate glass in the windshield to something that was more shatterproof. That was a big deal for me when I was a young man. Wow, you know, it's actually safe to drive one of these things now. So I want you to take that sort of metaphor when you think about the iPhone 16, 16 Plus, and then the Max and Pro Max. It's the same form factor, but it's got different guts inside. Okay, so they got new colors for the iPhone 16 and the Plus. Black, white, pink, teal, and ultramarine. And again, two sizes. This is how you distinguish one's a Plus and one's just a 16. 6.1 inches, that's how long it is, and 6.7 inches. They've got an advanced dual camera system, and that's all I'm going to say about cameras. If you want the details on the cameras, you really need to go look at the tech specs, but it's not the same camera you had in the 15. And then last but not least, the main difference inside it is it's got an Apple Silicon A18 chip. Okay? The 15s had the A16 chip. You're going like, well, what happened to the A17 chip? They jumped a generation because the 15 wasn't designed to do machine learning and Apple Intelligence. The 16 is. So you've got an Apple Silicon A18 chip in there. It's got 6-core CPU. It's got a 5-core GPU, that's a graphics processing unit, and it's got a 16-core neural engine. Neural engines are the ones that are doing the artificial intelligence. Okay, so this is a whole new breed of device. Okay, doesn't look like it when you look at it, you know, the form factor, but it's a brand new kind of device. That machine learning, those neural networks. So, and then this is just a screen to sort of give the overall camera control. So these phones have a new kind of thing. It's a slider feature on the side, another button that you can use to do all sorts of adjustments for camera stuff. Let's see. New ultra wide with autofocus, a 48 MP fusion camera with 2x telephoto, pause video recording, 4 lenses in your pocket, spatial photos and videos, reduced wind noise. That's a big deal. You're trying to do a phone call. If you're on a crappy Android phone, talk about you, Bill, and you're walking along, you know, the Miami River and the wind's blowing, it's like, you know, why are you bothering to talk to me with a phone? If you've got a phone that'll detect wind noise and filter it out when you're trying to use it, wow, that's something that actually will make your life better. A redesigned photo app. This is one that's, okay, I'm going to regret saying this, but the new photo app is going to cause most of you cognitive issues. It'll be like when we went from iPhoto to photos, only more so, because you see, one of the things that's in this machine learning, Apple Intelligence, is visual intelligence. So, looking for things on your photo app is going to be it's just going to be very, very different. And that's all I'll say about that. Okay.
Camera control.
Yeah.
Every time I take a picture, I go to a museum, so I take lots of pictures.
Yeah.
I walk around, I take a picture, I walk to the next thing, oh, I want to take a picture of that.
Yeah.
And the darn thing has gone to panoramic or it's gone to video.
Yeah.
Is it gonna control that a little bit better so that as you walk around with it?
It'll know it's in a museum, and it'll know what is appropriate as the thing to be, the format to be taking the video or the photos.
We'll talk about that next month.
Yeah. I mean, this
We will
is,
talk
this
about
is,
that specific question next month.
all of this Apple Intelligence stuff, you know, forgive me, but I'm old. It takes me back to a lecture that I heard Grace Hopper give at Fort Meade, Maryland, back in 1982, where she was talking about computer systems. And she used the example of a chemical plant. And there's a computer and it's running this chemical plant operation. That computer pays the same amount of attention and processing time on figuring out so-and-so's overtime pay as it does whether that valve didn't close. The valve that's gonna cause a $100 million plant to self-immolate, okay? They're equal priority. the overtime calculation and whether that valve needs to be opened or shut. And she talked about how we need to have computational priority. Well, that's what machine learning is. Machine learning is, oh, I'm in a museum, he's taking photos, oh, I shouldn't be doing panorama, I should be doing, okay. Oh, I'm up high and I appear to be on a bridge. Oh, I should be doing a panorama. Okay, so, again, because all this stuff is beta and we haven't actually seen it, I can't really talk about it in terms of how it's going to affect your life. But I would make an educated guess that the sort of stuff that Apple's going to do with their machine learning and Apple Intelligence will change your life as much as the development of the World Wide Web on the internet.
Wow.
Okay? Now, if you had asked me back then, okay, let's say I'm sitting with this guy, Jeff, and we're in his bookstore in Seattle, and we're talking about the internet. Well, he's going to be saying to me, Amazon started as a bookstore in Seattle. He's going to say, oh, it'll make it easier for my clerks to look up what books we have in stock, and it'll make it easier for us to do special orders. Okay? Nowhere in that picture of the early internet did you have, oh, we're going to be selling the books to literally millions of people around the world, and we'll have a delivery system to send those books. And oh, by the way, we won't just be selling books. We'll be selling just about anything that's made, that somebody would want. Okay? It's that kind of mind grok that I see coming. Okay? Now, that can be good, and we know it can be bad. So, anyway, let me just give you some normative vocabulary for Apple Intelligence. Private cloud compute. Private cloud compute is what Apple's going to do when your local device doesn't have the horsepower or the knowledge resources to be able to answer the question. At which point it'll then be talking to a private cloud computing system that will anonymously and privately provide your local device with the information it needs to be able to answer that question or to do that task. Okay? Anonymous and private. None of the other people are talking anonymous and private, because they don't want you to be anonymous, they don't want you to be private, because they want to mine what you do, repackage it, and sell it. Another thing, writing tools. So this would be, I'll use an example they did. You're a 20-something and you just wrote up a short little missive email to send to your boss, and you were talking like you would to, your bro at the frat house. Well, writing tool means that your watch or your phone's going to say, do you want to professionalize that email a little bit? And you can choose whether you want it to be casual, you're talking to your frat brother, or you're talking to the CEO of NVIDIA. And it'll change not what you said, but the verbiage that's around what you said. Okay? So it's a writing tool. Machine learning. It has to know the context. Another one would be, who's getting the email? there's a guy I know, he does, he's in a PR role over at the DOD. And he made a mistake on his email distribution list. He thought he was sending it only to the other people that are doing public information inside the White House. And unfortunately, it was actually going out to people at Fox News and elsewhere, okay? Writing tool means it knows who your audience is and restricts or expands the distribution list accordingly. Okay. Other things, image creation, emoji creation, I look at those as being sort of like, whiz bangs until you start thinking about what's involved. You want to send an emoji to somebody, instead of picking out from a list of emojis that already exist, you say, send them an emoji of a ferret wizard. And it creates an emoji that's a ferret wizard. And nobody else in the world has that. You just created it. Artificial intelligence, image creation, boom, off it goes. Okay, photo tools, I won't go into that much, but basically machine learning with your photos. Email and notification summaries, so you get an email in, you're getting thousands of emails in, machine learning, your iPhone's gonna go, okay, these are the ones you need to see right away. These are the important ones. And, instead of me shoving it in your face, I'm just gonna say, hey, you got a bunch of emails that came in that look to be important. When you get a chance, boss, take a look at them. It'd be like getting that, you come in first thing in the morning and you've got your executive assistant at the desk. Okay, and some of you have had executive assistants, some of you haven't. But you walk in and she gives you that look that says, you gotta be on your A game, boss, there's stuff happening, okay? And you get clued into what's important right after you walk in the door, instead of having to walk over to the desk, get a cup of coffee, come back, and then all of a sudden you got the CFO in your face saying, what the hell happened? Okay. So email and notification summaries. Siri on Apple Intelligence. Okay, so Siri, Alexa, whatever you want to call it, where it's smarter than it is now. So I say, hey, remember, I'm talking to Siri now. Hey Siri, remember those photos Lucy, it knows Lucy's my daughter, took in Reykjavik. Can you email those to Linda? And it's gonna know Linda is my sister. And it's gonna find the email, grab everything, and off it goes. And do it correctly.
My Siri just had a long conversation with me thanks to hearing your, hey Siri.
Yeah. And again, remember with the machine learning and the whole thing about knowing what the environment is, it's going to hear me more clearly, and I'm going to be able to use less precise language. Okay, when I'm talking to Siri on my phone, I feel like I'm using very controlled words like I would to a 2-year-old that has a big no problem. You only, where now I'll be able to be much more, less precise, more like I normally am. Okay. And then last but not least, visual intelligence. Okay. You've got your phone, you're walking in the park, you see a bike, and you go, that's a really nice e-bike. I wonder who makes it and what it is and what it would cost if I bought one. And you have your phone look at it and you say, hey, what is that bike? And it identifies it. And it shows you who sells them and what it costs and whether there's a better one. Okay, visual intelligence, wow. Okay, now, all this stuff is still beta, but it's going to be coming out. You're going to start to see this stuff in iOS 18, okay? And it's gonna be coming out in September. So we're talking, what, the 20th,
16.
16th, 16th?
Not the Apple Intelligence. The Apple Intelligence will be next month.
Yeah.
It's already out in beta for beta users. I've got it now. It's out, but it's not out for everybody. It'll be out for everybody in the middle of next month.
So, I'm not saying this is the best thing since sliced bread, because I haven't seen how it slices the bread yet. I'm just giving you a heads up, this is what's coming. And October, November is where they start talking about the iPads, the Mac Studios, you know, what we typically think is Apple computers, the Macintoshes. That's also going to be Apple Intelligence, machine learning, and they're going to be interacting with the phones. It's coming. All right, so again, in terms of the phones, USB-C, camera controls, action button, new vibrant colors, A18 processor, message via satellite. So some of these phones are going to have, you know, satellite.
The message via satellite is the coolest thing.
Yeah.
I used it in the middle of the desert in southern Utah. And so what you're talking to somebody and your cell signal goes away and you get that little signal. Looks just like what you see up there in the corner. The little satellite appears at the top of your screen and you just start texting people just like you're right there.
Yeah.
And it texts, the messages go back and forth. It is slick. It works. It's amazing.
And for those of you in the aeronautical design community, while the icon looks like a keyhole satellite, they don't actually use keyhole satellites to do their.
It just looks like that. It helps you aim it, so you aim your phone at the satellite to get the best transmission.
Yeah.
So it actually shows you where the satellite is on the phone, and you move your phone around, and when you get it in line with it, then you get your best signal.
And last but not least, a big boost in battery life.
What
Now,
network are you on, and is there any charge for that?
There's no charge right now. Apple said it's gonna be free for the year. I don't know when they're gonna start charging for it. I'm on AT&T, but it doesn't matter, because AT&T is not involved at that point. I mean, it goes straight to the satellite. It's pretty cool.
okay, so when I start thinking about an iPhone now, I start thinking about an autonomous device that has all these sensors in it. Okay, it's got temperature sensors, it's got altitude sensors, it's got just a whole bunch of stuff going on. And the most complex sensor that it has is its camera system. So now we're talking about i16 Pro and i16 Pro Max. Again, these things are designed for Apple Intelligence. It looks like the current iPhone, but if you take it apart, you'll find out that they've taken an aluminum skeleton and they've got the titanium bonded to it. I don't know how they did that, okay? But bonding aluminum to titanium is not easy. And it makes for a lighter phone, and it allows for a more robust phone, okay? So anyway, let me just roll through the normal stuff. It's designed specifically for Apple Intelligence. It's designed for machine learning. New colors, black titanium, white titanium, natural titanium, desert titanium. Two sizes, 6.3 inch, which is the Pro, and 6.9 inch, which is the Pro Max. Advanced Pro camera system, it's what they call a fusion camera. I won't go into the details on it, but this thing is absolutely amazing in the amount of information you can bring in. Now, information coming in has to be processed. So it has a different chip than the iPhone 16. It's got the Apple Silicon A18 Pro chip. 6-core CPU, 6-core GPU, 16-core neural engine, but it's the other A18 chip on steroids. And it has to have that because of the camera sensors that it has. It can pull in so much more information. This is the sort of device that you could be doing commercial movies, filming commercial movies with. Where, you know, it's going to recognize that it has people coming on and off camera and it's changing the camera shot accordingly. You know, just the stuff I've seen in the presentation that they had it doing, I'm going like, huh? How can it do that? I don't understand. This is, I don't understand. My mind's boggled with this. Okay, so that's what they presented. So my closing, my executive summary, if you will, is Apple Intelligence, machine learning. If you listen to the mavens on Wall Street, they're going to say Apple's way behind, etc. I think Apple is using what's there and making it available now to actually improve somebody's life. Where the other ones, they're putting out search engines that don't search as well as a manual search engine. These Apple Intelligence machine learning features, this is just the beginning. So this is, think of it, it's like going back to the very first iPhone. And you went, it's not that much different than the other guys, you know, blah, 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 blah. And then you saw the next one and you went, oh, wait a minute. And then you saw the next one and then you went, hey, everybody in the world is buying this instead of the other guys. And then you saw the other cell phone companies sort of disappear into the sunset. That's where I think is going to happen. But for you personally, it's gonna be challenging over the next 2.5, 3 years as this stuff gets implemented. Because it's gonna confuse us. We're gonna feel like we're losing control even though with Apple technology, we'll be gaining control. So just
I'm trying to keep up.
take a deep breath and buckle up, Buttercup. It's gonna be an interesting ride. Okay, questions?